Hello. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tammy, and I just want to say to those of you who have recently subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. I'm really happy that you're here. If you've been with me on this journey for a while, just know how much I appreciate you. And if you have not subscribed, I would invite you to consider doing so. I don't try to do more than one of these a week. Sometimes I do a little bit more. It really is as I engage in talking with clients and the coursework and just basic conversations or information that I see is when it kind of prompts me to do videos like this. My background is I am internationally certified as a master clinical aromatherapist with a background also in pharmacology, digestive wellness, which I've instructed the epigenome, as well as the science of nutrition with regards to the way micro and macronutrients function in the body. I also am an expert in stress, not stress as we relate to it, but the stress mechanism. The stress mechanism essentially is the body's response to the environment, both internal and external. And that's pretty much what I present here. Based on a blog post that I did on my Ultimate Guide, which you can find synergessence.com. Just go to the Ultimate Guide tab and you can see some recent posts. This most recent one was 6 tips for balancing and maintaining gut flora, also known as dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is essentially an imbalance in the microflora throughout the body, although we tend to focus primarily on gut. And that's kind of what brings me to this, because part of my background also includes a number of years in the dental field. Pardon me. And to the point where I have also been a dental health instructor to incoming dental assistants and sometimes even dental hygienists. So with that in mind, like I said, I did a blog post yesterday on dysbiosis. And one of the things that really came home for me, and I did a video actually on IGTV on this, pardon me, I have something in my throat and I could re-record, but I've stopped several times, so I'm just going to keep going. The question that I asked on IGTV was, what if you could regulate the bacteria, the flora of your body with essential oils? Because ultimately what's leading to the disruption of the microflora is a combination of stress, the stress mechanism, and the fact is that a lot of health medical studies are saying their statement is they don't know if it's kind of like the chicken and the egg scenario. Which came first? Did the stress happen first, or did the dysbiosis happen first? And because one just perpetuates the other. My theory is it's the stress, but again, it's not stress in the sense that we relate to it like, tension and so forth. This is a mechanism that the body is wired for. And what I mean by that, this is what oxidative stress is. Okay, so we are actually wired for protection. We are also wired to regulate our sleep cycles, our menstrual cycles, our sexual drive. I mean, this is all regulated by our hormonal system. And stress is no different. And when we produce oxidative stress, it's supposed to be for a good reason, because we've been exposed to something, and there's something, or there's an activity that needs to happen, a process that needs to take place. And so therefore, these changes occur throughout the genome, along the epigenome more specifically, that prompt the production of oxidative stress, other chemicals also known as reactive oxygen species. And so these chemicals are produced, they're meant to be temporary, and then the body has the ability to turn that off and go back into thriving mode. So this isn't happening though. And so we have this culmination of inflammation, which ultimately leads to every single health issue that we have. And yes, dysbiosis is involved with this. The truth is, if you have gut dysbiosis, gut flora imbalance, it's going to reflect in the mouth. It's going to reflect on the skin. I mean, we're going to have issues throughout the system. And so regulating our microflora with essential oils is far more effective because the essential oils themselves will render a bacteria, what they do, I guess the best way, because I mean, there's all kinds of studies, and I don't want to parrot another study that just says, well, they have the ability to inactivate or slow down the vitality of a bacteria, because the fact is we don't know what's a good bacteria and what's a bad bacteria. Bacteria is bacteria. Well, what I do know is that the way nature works, it's a guidance system. And I know this probably isn't very helpful for a lot of people because we're in a world right now that we want information, we want to be told how things work, and nature, for the best description I have, is abstract. The way it works is there's a synergy. Nature communicates via chemicals, and there's just signals constantly all over the place. These chemicals are constantly signaling activity. And so to use an essential oil for stabilizing the body, for helping to just to regulate the system. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how I want to go with this. Because again, I don't want to parrot anything. I don't want to go out there and go, well, this is what science is saying. The fact is that the way I implement the use of essential oils, and this is what I teach in aromatherapy as a lifestyle, and the whole thing with dysbiosis is something that we address in Digest Zen, which is ultimately a lifestyle change. You can check both of those out on synergessence.com, the services tab. You're invited to sign up for either one of those. They are currently being conducted in closed groups on Facebook, which means the outside world can't see them. You do pay a price to be a part of the group, and then it's an ongoing discussion. In aromatherapy is a lifestyle, there's 44 videos in total, probably close to 30 handouts, a comprehensive discussion as you want, full access to me. Again, it's ongoing. The Digest Zen is a lifestyle change. It's an empowerment program, basically empowerment and mindfulness to restore vitality and wellness. And I invite you to just go check it out on the website. I'm really, really excited to be introducing both of these, offering both of these. So, like I said, but the fact that if we're going to use essential oils, we can select oils that are considered antibacterial, right? I mean, we do know that they have those properties. But ultimately, what it comes down to is stabilization. And so when you stabilize the body, and by stabilization, I mean is actually relieving the stress at the cellular level. It's actually helping to redirect acetylcholine for the use in the digestive process, because acetylcholine is the primary neurotransmitter that signals the fight or flight reaction. And when we are in survival mode, we are in survival mode. And like I said, that's supposed to be temporary. This is where we produce the oxidative stress. But it's supposed to be temporary, which means it's supposed to come off, right? But the fact is given the environment that we have and the level of mental and emotional distress that's going on, there is a chronic cycle that's happening. And so acetylcholine is being used over here for survival when it's needed over here. And this is one of the changes that occurs, is that it's not a dysfunction, it's not a bad thing. It's just that right now our body, our livelihood is being threatened, our survival is being threatened, therefore we have to gear up. Okay? Eating is not part of gearing up. So the digestion process changes. So when you incorporate essential oils that actually help to soothe the autonomic nervous system, that actually support the reappropriation, if you will, of acetylcholine into the digestive process, now we're actually producing better levels of hydrochloric acid, which is, above all things, needed for the regulation of gut flora, which is essential, because just think about it, if you have higher levels of bad bacteria in the system, what's going to happen? The immune system's going to kick in, okay? I mean, I can go into all the other physiological changes. There's no sense to that. I mean, I can provide you with a document. You can get that document even if you sign into the class, but I'm happy to provide you with that document if you would like. But there's a lot of information in this piece that talks about the different changes. This is specifically what we talk about, again, in digestion. And so what ultimately happens is, again, bad bacteria is amplified. There's not a balance in the gut. So now the immune system is going to spark, and it's going to start signaling it needs to take care of it. It needs to balance out this bacteria because the gut's not taking care of it, okay? Now, the first line of defense is hydrogen peroxide. That is a reactive oxygen species. It is part of the stress cycle. It's one of the chemicals that's produced as a result of the stress mechanism. So now we have this repetitive thing happening, okay? So you can see where stress would have signaled it, then the dysbiosis is now in place, and so now you have an immune system that's overreacting. Now the body's consistently stressed, taxed, feeling threatened because there's higher levels of bacteria. It's releasing hydrogen peroxide, and unfortunately what happens is this hydrogen peroxide also is released into the mouth, okay? Where this becomes an issue, because you think, well, it's helping to eliminate bad bacteria in the mouth. Not necessarily, maybe to a certain degree. But here's the thing. Excessive exposure to any kind of oxidative stress amplifies inflammation. In the presence of hydrogen peroxide, scientists have been able to demonstrate that too much hydrogen peroxide actually damages the DNA. So now you have a breakdown. And then there's studies coming out of Australia that are actually showing the amount of damage that can occur to both soft and hard tissue in the mouth. It's coming out as there's a bunch of dental studies. So this becomes problematic. So imbalance in the gut now leads to an imbalance in the mouth. And it kind of escalates from there. So a couple of things with regards to this video. Using essential oils that if you don't use them for any other reason, I realize we have a lot of symptoms. There's a lot of health issues, and there's a lot of oils that are specific, that can be good for those specific purposes. For the sake of this video, it's always best just to err on the side of caution and at least stick with something that's going to help begin to stabilize. And the best attempt that I would make at this would be to select oils that are known to be beneficial for the digestive system. A couple of them that I could suggest right now is palmarosa, marjoram sweet, ginger root, and the thing that one of the ones that I noted in the blog is black pepper. Black pepper is exceptional with regards to pancreatic flow and so forth. So it's a very beneficial thing, and a combination actually supports the soothing of the autonomic nervous system as well. So these are very beneficial. However, with the black pepper, there's a bit of a concern because it doesn't go well with all medications. So understanding how these work, and again, being cautious. So if there are concerns with medications, something that you could potentially substitute for black pepper would be something like coriander. And that, again, is just to begin the stabilization. I'm not going to guarantee you that those 4 particular oils, if you blend them together, are going to be the ultimate answer for you. Really teaching you how to distinguish what's best for you, and working with your specific system is what I do as a consultant, but it's also what I'm teaching in aromatherapy as a lifestyle. So that's an option if you want to try these and they don't work, but that's something that you're invited to consider, because the fact is that although oils are considered safe and natural, they're not safe and natural for everyone, and there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all. So I'm offering those oils as a suggestion, but bear in mind that they may not be the 100% answer for you. In the meantime, besides doing that, I would suggest taking a betaine supplement and really getting some hydrochloric acid levels up to begin the regulation. Do not take probiotics unless you are on an antibiotic, but please, the best bet, because probiotics actually stimulate the immune system even further. They stimulate the production of natural killer cells, which have been found in psoriasis. And in the lesions of psoriasis, natural killer cells are high. And when we take probiotics, we actually amplify that. So probiotics is not your best answer. Your best answer, and I realize that there's a lot of people out there talking about different ways to regulate the gut bacteria, and probiotics is a suggestion. Medications, there's actually medication that's an antibiotic that is used. So there's different methodologies, and so this is mine. And the methodology that I'm suggesting is taking a hydrochloric acid supplement or betaine. One of those is always beneficial. The one I like is made by Biotics Research. There's a link in the description box below, and it's a betaine plus pepsin, which is helping to break down the protein. That's a good one. Using those oils that I suggested, the palmarosa, the black pepper or coriander, ginger root, and marjoram sweet to influence the digestion and soothing of the autonomic nervous system. Cut out the excessive use of antibacterial products. This is significant because the antibacterial, a lot of the skin products that are out there contain ingredients that increase skin permeability. Skin is already permeable. And if we continue to use products that have this increase the permeability, then using these antibacterial hand washes and everything else that we have that have antibacterial in them is going to get into the system and disrupt microflora as well. This is one of the reasons why I was asking about using the oils to regulate the microflora of the body, because they will actually help, again, stabilize the system. And why is that important? Because then the body can regulate the flora itself. One of our biggest challenges that we're facing as a species and a culture is we're trying to do what the body's already designed to do. And what I'm trying to teach here is a different method of helping the body. There's ways that we can step in and intervene if there's an issue, but really leaning more towards gearing things towards this stabilization so that the body can actually do it itself. We have to believe that the body can do this because it can. I've got countless anecdotes, reports that I can, things that I've done with my own clients. So this isn't something that I've just presenting. This is, 30 years in the making, 10 to 15 years of practice. This is real. The body is able to do this. So if we use oils to stabilize the system and take steps to help the body actually regulate this, then the body can actually distinguish what's beneficial and what's not and create that balance. So I'm going to recap this. Hydrochloric acid supplement or a betaine, and there's a link in the box below. There's essential oils that I listed: coriander and/or black pepper, palmarosa, ginger root, and marjoram sweet. Reducing or eliminating as many antibacterial products as you can. This includes mouthwash. Okay, because the antibacterial mouthwash is actually continuing to disrupt the balance of bacteria in the mouth. Because bear in mind, these things are general, okay? I mean, this is the reason why we create antibiotics, so they're very specific to very specific strains of bacteria. These antibacterials are not. They're just kind of broad scope, and so they're annihilating every kind of bacteria, which leads to more imbalance, and then it keeps the immune system overstimulated, and it continues to stress the body. So that said, there are ways to actually restore dental health without having to and keep fresh breath. Because halitosis, if it's just bad breath, is due to bacteria. You can actually use essential oils as a means of kind of freshening the breath. You can use, believe it or not, coconut oil as a mouthwash, swishing with it for a while and spitting it out does wonders because of the lauric acid in it. Okay, so really helping to balance and helping the body to keep balance. You won't have bad breath. Now, of course, there's other issues with bad breath. If you're a mouth breather, you need to see your dental health professional because they can help you with, because it may be something structural for you that's causing you to breathe with your mouth open. It could be inflammation, okay? And so again, the oils will actually help with inflammation. So there's a number of reasons why you want to include the oils into helping to regulate this. I'm thinking of a couple of other things here. As far as dental health is concerned, because I realize, and this is actually a big section in aromatherapy as a lifestyle, there are ways to help your dental health with naturally that don't require all of these store-bought products. If you're concerned about white teeth, here's what I'm going to say about that. As we age, the pulp of the tooth recedes, which means the blood supply is not there. So the vitality of the tooth diminishes. That is the reason why the teeth begin to darken with age. Okay, if it's staining of the teeth, get your teeth cleaned. You know, you can you don't have to use the hydrogen peroxide products, is what I'm getting at. Okay, so you can possibly, you know, brush your teeth with, I know charcoal has been recommended. I know coconut oil is recommended. I myself have actually witnessed the brightening of my teeth by swishing with coconut oil. So it takes some time. It's not going to be like you're going to put a strip on and the day later your mouth is white. Hydrogen peroxide, which is in a lot of these, which is, you know, components of it are in these products, are damaging to the DNA. And so your oral health is indicative of your systemic health. It's indicative of your gut health. And there are means that we can actually help keep things in balance. And so that's really what this is a ploy for, is, and you don't, and this may not be something that you want to do. I mean, when it comes to your body keeping the teeth white, well, it's just the natural progress here of aging. So yes, teeth do darken, but there are other things that we can possibly do that would enhance your smile and enhance your skin tone and so forth. And so that's what I want to say to that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about all of this. And so the three things are hydrochloric acid, those oils that I talked about, and reducing the amount of antibacterial products that you use. Of course, there's also some dietary suggestions, which I left in the blog, but that's pretty much just a wholesome diet. I'm not listing them here because the fact is we can eliminate certain foods, because with dysbiosis, we have a tendency to see an overgrowth of yeast. We have an overgrowth of, we tend to crave carbs and sugar. We have thyroid issues. We have cholesterol issues. We have all kinds of inflammation. Okay, so the thing is like to eliminate certain foods from our diet makes sense. Okay, so cutting back on the carbs and the sugar for right now, because you're feeding the yeast. But that's not going to complete the picture. So that's the reason why I'm not listing the diet here. It's listed there on the blog. But it just to eliminate the potential source of symptoms, while it does relieve symptoms, isn't ultimately helping the body do what it's designed to do. So I hope that makes some sense to you. If you have any questions, by all means, let me know. You're welcome to join my groups. Like I said, you can find those two courses on my services page. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys very much, and I hope this is helpful. If you let me know if you have any questions, and until the next blog post, take care.